Okay, guys. Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Jim, for the invitation. Thank you, Vita, for everything. It's my second year on the road talking about lithiodisilica or lithiosilica. Let me int- let me introduce a little bit my. Uh, I'm a small laboratory here in Houston. Doing exactly what the majority of you guys doing. Just working every day on the bench. Technology has been changing everything today, but aesthetic dentistry is not changing, And I'm gonna go a little bit quicker. I'm not gonna talk too much about facial driven, but I need to touch in that. Aesthetic dentistry for me, for the last 26 years of my life, I've been doing this, is the worst always has been running my office, and I get cases, I talk to the doctors, and I know through the time everybody has been using photography and everybody's been using uh, pictures like this for communication, and we get that call all the time says, uh, Victor, what we can do here? Can we do some veneers and everything? And you start staring the pictures. In your experience, you come with a lot of ideas, but the truth is we are not 100% sure if it's going to work or not. We've done in the past cases like that. We remake a lot of cases in my office because we just driven the cases by models, some models, by pictures. But you know, the materials today allow me to do a lot of different things, but in the same times, patients like this, they want to just improve a little bit. And we can talk about dentistry a lot in this case, for example, ortho, tissue grafting, and a lot of things we can do it. But in reality is today patients, they don't want to hear that much about dentistry when they're sitting in your chair. They want to understand what you can do it, what you can do it for them, and how you're gonna do it, and how long it's gonna take, how much it's gonna take, for how long it's gonna approach. Usually for patients like that, I have a small presentation. I have the opportunity in my office to see every single of my patients. Doctors, they allow me to interview in the office. And usually when I do the interview, I show something very similar to what they have before I start doing anything, before what, that way they can get engaged with me. It's being my tool of selling, or, to show them what I can do for them, what I've been done for another patients. Uh, that's what usually, this is a case I've been using for the last 6 months, is explain there what is a veneers, what I can do, what is the reduction of the teeth, and that way they can understand, because a lot of people, they see today social media. When they see social media, they see no invasive dentistry, minimal reduction dentistry, lumineers, and all that. What means is they expecting not to do anything to the teeth and get the results. uh, Showing them a little bit what we can do in the office and how we can do in the office and what is the materials and all that, they can get engaged in the cases. One of the materials I've been using a lot today, in daily basis for cases like this is Ambria, the one we're going to show today. Yeah, I love the material. It's very simple. I think it's one of the materials you can go 100% monolithic if you want to. You can layer also, and I'm going to show you a little bit about the layering technique. It's a micro layering technique, but the idea is to create something just to replace the enamel. The material is very opalescent in itself, and I'm going to show you in the mouth. I have this example here, and I love this example because I did two centros for this one. One is a flat surface, the other one is a reflecting surface. That way, the patient can see it, and also was an actual case where I have to try in the mouth. We try in two different ways. Then I choose the one with the lateral reflection, and then we cement it in the patient's mouth. That is the day of the cementation. That is the process of pressing, and we're gonna get a little bit more in that. But usually, this is what I show my patient. This is when the patients that are coming here. This is when the possible customer is in my chair need to know a little bit about me, and how we're going to treat that. And after I show all this, I can explain the patient a little bit more. Or the doctor usually is the one is that, because from this usually we can go and do. I take all my pictures like I always going to show you, and I can go to the facial driven generation, and I would do a lot of emotional photography here, because today everything is connected. Everything is connected. You have to create emotions. You don't talk into just a patient in the chair anymore. That was in the past. Try to sell dentistry in the chair, and that doesn't work unless the patient is 100% committed. Today we do a lot of visual communication. We do a lot of mock-ups. Every single of these patients is a mock-up only before we do the finals. And when we get engaged from the patient, what we can do with them, and we show the materials, we show, and actually I have samples here, and that way they can touch it. I love to get the patient to understand what they're gonna do for them, what materials we're gonna use. We talk about the company. Usually I mention VITA, the 100 years of VITA, and that way, patient they trust in products companies. They've been for a long time. When people they're going to spend a lot of money and time, and a lot of money today in all these cases, they want to they want to be comfortable. It's not a matter if it's a 10,000 or a $50,000 treatment. For a patient, they buying a Ferrari and they don't drive it. They only they're going to put in the mouth, and they don't see the difference. You have to show the difference. A lot of people they say, the industry is driving for the cheap market. Is because I believe we are forget how to treat people. We are forget how to sell the products. I know a lot of big laboratories, they just sell crowns. We concentrate more in return the ability to smile, eat, and function in my office. That is basically what I do, yeah, and that's what I try to communicate with the patients and with my doctors, and they love it. We do a lot of different things with the patients. This is more about today communication between the doctors and me. We use Kino, we draw papers, and that we can understand. But when the patient is engaged, when the patient and the doctor decide to go with the cases, we use all the photographies. You can go, and very famous DSD with Christian Kochman. We have it our own digital center today with my brother, D2S, and we do all the designs for the patients. He does all my designs. Actually, I was talking with one of my good friends this morning, and I was saying, today my laboratory is becoming just two men's person. We are two in the office. We used to be five, now we are two, and we're producing the same amount or more money than before. And it's because just technology. The way we approach today the dentistry is different. We do less remakes. We don't remake like before. We don't spend waxing like before. I used to spend hours waxing, full mag waxer maybe was at 2 days. Today is we can do a wax up in maybe in 2 hours using digital tools. But the initial design, we have a digital centers, and basically digital center designs everything for us with the knowledge and technology, and we spend in finalize. We divide a little bit more the laboratory today than before. Is the preset laboratory and the manufactured laboratory, what I call, but doing the facial-driven smile makes all the cases a little more predictable. I think 99%. Christian Kochman mentioned really good in all the speaks, and every time he go around and say, is the only way. And I truly believe today is the only way. If you don't plan in the computer, if you don't use the tools we have today, like technology and softwares to design the cases, you pretty much you working for failure. You like before, every time I used to deliver a case in the past, before all this era, is was doing a WhatsApp, doing patient was buying my WhatsApp on the stone model. And then when I used to do the finals, the patient say, well, I don't like this, I don't like that. And then you end up remake it or fixing and spending more time. Today, today is a little more predictable. Like in this patient, we use all the interpupillary lines, everything you want to use, everything the doctors wants to tell you. And the beauty about it is we can do two, three different treatments for the patient and present at the same times. We can go the classic four anteriors, we can go the six anteriors, we can go eight anteriors, and we can present all those treatments to the patient. That makes a lot of difference today. In the regular waxing or in the analog waxing was impossible to do all that. It was a lot of work. With that, we can go and just do what we call the emotional mocha. We translate that with a simple putty and bisacryl in the patient's mouth, and then we let the patient see it, let the patient enjoy. We don't use any mirrors anymore. We use pictures and videos. I don't use it. Doctors, they use it in their office. In that way, the patient can see themselves the way the other people they're going to see it. Let I gotta say this. I have a few doctors they were been doing is they spot etching the teeth and they leave the emotional mocha for a couple of days in the patient's mouth. That way they can go and show the husband, boyfriends, girlfriends, and that way they can truly get, engaged in the case. And that way, basically with this, you don't sell the case. Patients are coming back to you and say, I want to do this. And when they want to, you just show the route they have to use. If they need ortho, if they need perio, I believe the acceptance in orthodontics today is 80% more than before, and 90% I gotta say in our patients, because they say yes when you show them the final result they can understand. To get there they need to do, you're always going to have the patients they say just cut my teeth and make veneers, so I don't want to do this way. Also, all these pictures they help me a lot to analyze with the team how we're going to do the case, all the particular things we have to do it. And then we can do injectable techniques, we can do temporaries, in that way we can go to surgeries, do a little bit graftings, like the pictures here and the patients here, before we do the finals. Sometimes this is a beautiful picture, actually. This is for my friend, Dr. Douglas Terry. He shared with us this picture, but just getting into the cases now. I don't know how many of the people here is familiar with the ambria, but ambria is one of the most unique materials for me. Ambria and Supremity, my earliest start with this lithium silica with a little bit zirconia impregnated in the system. You can go and read, and Jim can explain about the science of this. But what I see is a product is very strong. It's almost 500 megapascals. After this bonding, it's plenty enough. What I see is an opalescent, iridescent, and the light, the way it's colored them out, is one of the most beautiful materials. We have patients like this. We did in the past, with the same. They come in, they show you, and they say what we can do. And it's a lot of things we can do in this patient, but the first thing we do in our office is start with the digital design. If we don't do a digital design today, I don't make the case. I gotta be honest, I don't make cases. And I'm very strong in that belief today, because I don't like to remake cases anymore. Uh, I lose a lot of money every time I remake. I end up working for free for the patients and the doctors. And I don't like that part. When we have cases like that, you can see between 8 and 9 is the final design, is the way the tissue it is. We can show, we can do the mock-up, we can do everything, but the patient already and the team already understand is a deficit of papilla and something has to be done there. That is number 8, is an all implant crown. We're going to remake it. We have to work around that. Actually, we want to work with the periodontist to restore the tissue, and we did a lot of work in that. But if allow me to come back, when I do the digital design, this is a very important picture for me. We see the opacity, the one is a almost 50% opacity file in the picture is the final design, and the one in bluish finish is the actual position of the teeth. That means we know, these veneers, they're going to be maybe they're additive first, and they're maybe zero point 0.3 to zero point 0.5 tenths of millimeter already without any reduction. And when you don't have a reduction is when you can sit and think about it, which material is. Usually in my office, we do, if it's not reduction or it's a minimal reduction, today I use ambient pressing right away. Why pressing? Because it's more simple, more efficient for me. We meal also Suprinity in the office. We meal a lot when we have to do a rush case, and I'm going to explain you a little bit what we do in the office. Maybe you can get an idea. But this is already telling me the material I'm going to use before I go to anything. And then we do the mock-ups, we send it to the doctors, and the doctors, they're going to try the mock-up in the patient's mouth, they're going to do the perio, they're going to do gingivectomy if we need to do it, they're going to reduce a little bit, and they took the final impressions, and basically that, is my product to go. This is the way I used to do it, like everyone. We used to mill, design, everything is coming from design, and I used to mill all my and wax, sprue it, investing, and pressing. Time consuming, time consuming. Today, I love to use technology. Oh, sorry about that. Today, we love to use technology, and I use a pressing system where we print everything, and then after the print, we invest in like every single system. But printing this way, straight from Exocad, or I think you can export the STL file from 3Shape also, the people that use 3Shape. We use Exocad in my office. Uh, the advantage is we do pretty much zero gap spacer for pressing these minimal invasive veneers. Uh, the way this system press is beautiful because press also the channel for the ingas and the plungers. Everything is coming like you see it. You put the ring around and then you press. We press Ambria in 0.1, 0.2 tenths of millimeter. You can see the margins in those pressings. They are beautiful. And that way, when we get the material you can get in different colors. You can get the HT, ST, and the T. Honest with you, for all these cases, I've been using T. I use T. I think translucent ingots, they are very stable in color, but when you thin it out to 0.3 to zero point 0.4 tenths of millimeters, is translucency, has a lot of translucency. If you use an HT, the underneath color, if it's not perfect, can bleed through too much. It's happening, follow always the manufacturer recommendations for everything, for pressing, for glazing. I don't change it that much. I calibrate the ovens today more often than before. The glaze point is very important in Ambria. And that's what I'm going to say. If you want to get a little bit more opaque material, drop 20 degrees from the 800. If you want to get the T a little more translucent, go to 820. That is what I've been doing in my ovens in my office. Like I said, Ambria is a tricky, for me, it's kind of the light properties they have when you fire it can make 2, 3, 4, 5 degrees make the difference. That way, if I need a little more opaque material, I drop it 20 degrees. If I need a little more translucent, I glaze in 820. I always go 55 degrees per minute, and that way I get it really nice. The texture, you never lose texture. I We work a lot in the texture, but this is pretty much the way are coming after pressing. I think, it's a clean press. The way we press today, if you have any questions, please ask me any questions through this process. It's better to ask right now or take notes, and in the end we can go back and answer all the questions. But with pressing, this particular case, because it's was a combination of crowns in the anterior for the implants and the veneers, I drop it. If you see the pressing detail is almost a little bit or more in the opaque side because I dropped 20 degrees. We pressing and we drop 20 degrees in the no. This one we drop 3 degrees in the pressing to not get that much translucent, and in the glaze we bump it up, and I can play. This is basically the final result after pressing. Is nothing more than after pressing, cutting, fitting, fits beautiful. You barely touch it. Uh, uh, this is the result just by glazing. It's not layering here. It's zero layer. Absolutely zero layer. It's planning. For me, this is planning. When we're using in these kind of cases, it's just planning. And actually, you can see because number 8 is a crown and number 9 is a veneer, you can see how it's translucent a little bit more high value around the center. And I gotta be honest, I have the same effect in the mouth. And I talk to the patient and say, we can do something here. Maybe I can remain. She say, looks fine, looks beautiful. This is important texture. And like I show in the star in the first picture. Play a lot with the texture on the materials themselves, because what I see is a lot of people posting or showing cases with a beautiful that are beautiful, but they don't have any texture. Till they have texture, and texture is the what makes the light reflection and makes the case more vivid. And then you have a lot of the pictures for the patients. They come in, they do interviews, and these cases they've been selling more cases for me. What I try to say is today materials they can make my life more simple, not just technology. Is in the past I used to layer over refractory material. It used to take me maybe 2 or 3 days to do a case. 10 veneer cases, 2 days, 3 days, just the layering technique, deep vesting, fitting, and everything. Beautiful cases. Don't take me wrong. I'm still doing a lot of refractory today. But if you plan today the case from the very start, if you design the case with your doctors, we have pressable materials like in Ambria or milling material like in Supremity to get the right amount of translucency. And we use the opacity of the natural teeth to create a contrast and to create. I know a lot of people they say layer is the most beautiful ones. Yes, it's beautiful for us, for me. I gotta be honest, I've been learning that through the time. Sometimes when you layering and you put all the translucencies and all those beautiful colors in the incisal patients, they look at it and say, what is that? I don't like that. Material like this, they love it. I don't think they look fake. Uh, they can go social. They are your best marketing tool, these patients. They tag me every time in the pictures that I love that. and the material itself doesn't break. That is the other thing. Is remember when we make veneers for the upper only, and we don't do anything in the lower, we have a potential issue. We have a really good, it's a matter of time when something can fail. And I explain that to the patients. We explain with the doctors, we don't if we don't take care of the bite many times, something can fail. And I gotta be honest, through the years, a lot of things they've been failing is my phatic veneers because they are not strong enough. They are beautiful, but they're not strong enough. When we use materials like lithiosilica reinforced, they are strong enough, and you minimize the the failures here, in your ceramics. And actually, uh, patients they need to use night guards. Patients they need to go with with the appliance for night. We call night guards, but the appliance today they have to use 24 hours a day. A lot of the people they bruxing and they clinching more during work when they're working in front of the computer when they're in the meetings than at night, I, uh, and I think they need to use all the time the night guard. But anyway, guys, any question, please, Jim, any question, any suggestion through the process first case? Because I'm gonna jump in the second case.
Victor,
Yes.
the a question came up on your on the image that you show the pressing. Are you also printing the lower half of uh, your mold?
Yes.
So,
Is
so
printing the is printing in this system is the Kima printer, and is printing the software print everything prints the if you see it prints the canal for the inga and the
yeah,
plunger and
all
the
right.
sprue. And actually right now the system is using AI technology to sprue it and to measure all the weight. Basically, is when I go into the software, in the software for pressing, we design exocad, we export to the software. AI is gonna situate in the plungers, in the digital plungers, all the crowns, and it's gonna tell me I need to use this amount in ingas for pressing, and it's gonna maximize if I want to, and it's gonna put the best direction it's crazy. We barely have a mispress today because the majority of the mispress we used to have in the past, I gotta be honest, was my fault. Was my fault, putting the sprues and putting in the formers. You try to understand the direction of how it's gonna press. AI technology is great today. That's what we've been using. Is basically you export from Exocad to to the system and the Kima system. AI technology is going to situate the crowns for you, and you print that, and you just investing. And then, like I said, you have result like this. The beauty about is not, on the pressing is first of all, is the material is beautiful to press, very thin. Second one, the way the pressing is done, we press in one ring the whole upper arch. You can see it's three plungers to press in one time. That minimizes the time of pressing, I can press one full arch in one morning, it's only one. It's not three rings, it's only one ring, three plungers. That is the other thing.
Wow.
And that
Yeah,
is beautiful.
yeah. Thank you. So it's like a it's like CAD, but it nests for pressing.
Exactly, it's the same. It's a nesting software, but this nesting software is using AI technology today.
Nice.
Yeah,
All
yeah,
right.
and actually they use all your information. Actually, VITA Europe is giving all the information in that way to. They have all the different ones, and The programs, I gotta be honest with you, when you're gonna press this IA technology also can allow you to make a custom program for pressing, give you the custom program, depends how many units you have in the ring, how thin are the units or how thicker are the units, is gonna tell you if you need to increase a little bit the temperature or the timing of pressing. That is one is give you every time we nesting in this software with the AI technology, uh, is giving a formula for pressing based on the manufacturing recommendations. And that is crazy. And that is why we have less and less remake of mispressings. Reaction layer, like I say, this is just a quick debasting with glass bits. You can see the surface. It's not lying. It's we actually in this case we just press, we open with the glass bits, and I took a quick picture with the iPhone, and, and I think it's clean enough for me to start out. You know, and it's just because the majority of the problems we have in the past, and I believe Jim, you have a lot of questions. Your thing over there is about reaction layer, mispressing, why? And usually they are relating on time, temperature, and pressing time. Uh, like I say, technology is crazy today. Use it. IA technology is one. Is here today, is already involved into our nesting softwares. Uh, for my understanding, only the Kima has a nesting software with this capability and their printer. From that printer, you can transfer and print. You can press in any oven. You don't need a special oven. You can use their oven, or you can use a VITA oven. For the trick press, for 3 ingots, I believe you need a special program. You have to set up your ovens if you are not in the Kima. But is and the other thing is we've been doing with this system is how many of you guys you have to press different colors sometimes. Actually, you can press, for example, in this example, what you have there, if one is 1 and 1, the other one is 0 and 3, and the other one is 0 and 1, you can put ingots in each side, and it's going to print 3 different color, one shot, one pressing, one time. That is the advantage. And like I say, the material is really easy and really predictable to press. After pressing, the beauty about if you work a little bit texture, uh, cases like this, I run in cases like this in one day. The profit, when you're talking about business today, and that is so important, the profit is good because if somebody can design a case and pressing in the morning and you can finish in 10 veneers in the afternoon, I think it's very profitable for the lab. We don't work more, but we work less. Why? Because we used to work Monday to, like every laboratory, we used to Monday to Friday, Saturday sometimes. I gotta be honest, we work Monday to Thursday, and if we have to work extra, we work Friday mornings today with the same amount of work, with the same amount of, and less power. Like I say, we are two today. I have one designer, I finishing everything. Okay, I have the third person is the one is doing all the pre-designs for us, and it's a different company. Is the D2S is my brother. But any other question about this, Jim? I don't see
Uh,
I don't see the questions or anything in my screen. Sorry about that.
yeah, go ahead and move forward, and we'll pick up some more questions in a bit.
Okay, like I say, we have cases like this. This is my second case. And I love this case because show absolutely everything. It's the same. It's a patient come to the office, they hate their smile. And we understand. In the past, we used to just do an analog wax up and then go maybe prep for very aggressive veneers or crowns sometimes, I gotta say, in the past. Today, no. When I see cases like this for me is a beautiful prepless veneer case. Everything pretty much is the way I look at it today. If the patient doesn't want to ortho to correct a few things, but it's pretty much the same. When you see the tissue is very healthy, a lot of stains, yes, that is easy to correct. But we do a digital design. When we do the digital design, you can see in the left side is a P model, which pretty much shows what we need to reduce. Everything is outside of the white we see in pink around the teeth area is what is subtracted. We don't see any pink is additive, basically. We go into the patient's mouth, we do the emotional mock-up digital, this is digital. And then with that, we can bring into the CAD-CAM. That is usually what happens is when you transfer this into the exocad or tree shape to mill crowns like this is gonna make a mess your designs because the strategy of milling doesn't allow you to mill very, very thin. With printing, everything changed. In the past, we used to mill the wax, and after a beautiful design, we used to, when you finalize for milling, you get this. Pretty much everything is distorted, and then you're sitting and you're working. After pressing, you have to work for a long time. Today, with the pressing system, is totally different for us. We just what we see in the screen is where we can, and we go back. We transfer that to the printer. We tell the printer what we want to do it. We want to use in this case was Ambria OM3 T. And I tell the software this is what I want to do. This is the Inga I want to use it, and the software is going to nest in. And usually nest the ways make the support. If you can see a little bit in the printer, it has a lot of support. In this particular case, I decide to micro layer a little bit because I have to create a little bit of the opacity and the translucency for the discoloration. Um, but look at those margins. Look at those patterns. That is what I got after. This is just like I say, glass bits. Glass bits cleaning. No aluminum oxide, nothing, no acids, nothing. It's just glass bits. And this is my glaze. I'm going to show you a little bit on the lower part of what we did. Uh, I got a pressing, and that is usually my simple cut back. It's very simple cut back. I don't go crazy anymore with the cut backs. And I use Lumex. It's the ceramic for Ambria. You can use Lumix over zirconia. You can use Lumix over or over every single material. Is zirconia base, lithium base. I've been using over Emacs. If you want to see the truth, is sometimes I gotta use Emacs for my own cases, and I use Lumix without any problem. I like the low fusing point of the material. It's very stable in color today, and I can go and just create what I need to create, and a little more translucent, more in the texture. The most important thing in all these materials through the time I've been learning is not about the material only, it's about the texture. If you understand and if you play with texture when you glaze it and you give it that texture through the glaze, not over glaze, you can get a really nice light reflection. And then, it's pretty much simple. We can go this particular case, to try to create that halo effect, I think I used the same OM3 ceramic in top. But going back to the case, this is the case. This is totally different. This is a little bit later. We have a warmer up the two centrals. I always try to warm it up two centrals compared to the rest of the mouth. I've been learning that, the centers that are the signature of the case for me. Usually, they are the ones we have to work more around uh, and and try and try everything you want to do with those ones. I like to miss a little bit in the bright side in the two centers always. I don't pretty much the layering technique and the pressing technique is the same. Is I don't use any stain around the cervical to create warmer colors. And so far, patients they love it. If you see from the size, the light reflection is getting into the material. Depends if I took off one flash by half of the point intensity, you can see the difference. And the lowers, unfortunately, when I took the pictures, this patient, the lower teeth rotate a little bit, move basically. After that, because the patient used to have a lingual wire after ortho, and the problem is after the delivery of the veneers, doctor didn't put back the lingual wire. And 2 months after, when the patient showed up in my office for final pictures, the lower central move rotate just enough to open that contact. I think today patient went back to a little bit ortho with Invisalign and they put it back. I lost track of this patient. It's almost a year and a half now. The case in the mouth. The two cases I show you today, or the three cases I put it in the presentation today, is cases we've been using. They've been follow up for almost a year and a half. The people they follow me and they know me. I never show anything is immediately in the mouth. I like to see how the case is reacting, and I do a lot of recalls for hygiene, and I go to the hygiene appointment and I take my pictures uh, because I want to see my cases with a few months in the mouth, and that way I can understand how the cement is being playing, how the the material is being reacting with the natural stone shape in the mouth. But anyway, if you have any more questions, James, I need to. I think we're gonna give maybe 10 more minutes.
Yeah. So, do you have any more cases, or are we good?
No, we good for now. I want to get in questions right now and go back to the presentation with the questions now.
Okay. Question is from your AI where it's printing to the uh, result. Are they your design? Are they close? Is there any much discrepancy between what you design and what it presses out to be? In other words, how accurate does it seem? Is what they're asking from your AI design to print. That
It's
seems
exactly the same. It's exactly the same. It's exactly what you see. That is the main difference what we're seeing is from when you mill wax, what you see in the software and what you mill is close, but it's not the same. When we when we're printing, what we see in the software is what we see into the printing. And it's coming, the fit is beautiful because we can go zero microns for fitting. And that way it's very intimate fit. And especially for prepless veneers, one of the things with the prepless veneers is because it's no preparation, it's no guidance for the doctor to cementation. And when you mill the wax and you pressing, the gap spacer is between 10 to 15 microns, depends of the system and the nesting software. That means all the prepless veneers, they floating. And it's a lot of cement inside. And with a lot of cement, the changing in color is very high, and especially with the doctors today, they love to use a translucent or transparent cement because they don't want to alter the color of the veneers. But what happens is when you have 50 microns of transparent cement, any material is going to go low in value. And you see a lot of tries of, a lot of tries of pressing. They look beautiful on the trying, but after cementation, they go low in value. They go in low in value and say, what happened? It's just the thickness of the cement inside. Pressing, I've been getting a really better results. And let me go back. And you can see, for example, in this picture, is you barely see, actually the color of every single tooth is influenced from the color underneath of the stone shape preparation. Because the only we did is clean those teeth, and take off all the stains from hygiene, and that's it. You understand me? Let me go back very quick to this picture, and that way you can understand this part. If you look at this, that picture is we prep a little bit the two centros, we clean all the stains, and that's it. The influence, if you see number 7 is a little bit low in value, number 10 is a little high in value around cervical. When I got my final pictures in the mouth, I have exactly the same result. And that's what I try to do with these cases. These cases or this approach is not is to improve nature. It's not to make, and you have to talk to the patients. I heard this in my last meeting in SCAT is two different things. One is Hollywood Smile. If you want to do Hollywood Smile, that is from the early 2000s. That is totally different. It's a white chiclet square teeth. Today, everybody wants white teeth, and I don't argue with my patient. If they want white, I use ON1, ON3. That's my favorite colors to use today. The wider I can go, the better I can do for them. But natural teeth. Natural means not every single teeth is perfect. They are very harmonic. They are not symmetrical. Not every single teeth has to be the same white. It's a white. In this picture, we can tell the difference between every single one because it's a photography and we go intraoral and we can see every single defect in the picture. But when you see the smile of this patient, it's totally different. When you see this, looks natural, looks absolutely natural. Nobody can, the worst thing is, is when something is so white and perfect in the mouth, patients, they feel something is wrong because people, they don't stare in their eyes, they stare in the teeth, in the conversations. That is usually what happens. Uh, these patients, they love it, and I know when my patients, they are happy because I gotta be honest, 90% of my business is by referrals of patients. I have doctors, they calling me and say, I have a patient here sitting, and you make the case for the mother or the sister or the uncle or the friend, and they want me to use you. Are you available to do the case? The beauty when you do cases like that, when you go into the business this way, we've been talking about this, Jim, for a long, long time, is when the people, they ask for your work, you don't sell anymore. They buy it from you. When they buy it from you, it has a value. When you sell it, you have a discount. And that is, the difference is you want to keep a boutique lab. This material can be used in the production area every day. Very repeatable. Every single technician can work with this material, but you can take, it's one of the few materials you can take from a boutique lab monolithic to a production lab, and you can get the same results. You know, I don't like to talk bad about other materials, but I use, and I've been using Emacs, everybody knows. But Emacs is very sensitive material. You see cases coming from Emacs from the production labs, and they look horrible. And you see Emacs coming from a very boutique labs, and they look beautiful. This material, the way the light is cut off and the thickness you can work in these cases with this, and the minimal micro layer you needed to create vitality if you want to, it can be used for anyone. I got a friends, they coming here to learn with me every now and then, and when we do the private classes in my office and they use the material for the first time, eh, they get engaged immediately because it's very simple. We used to have a class with the two centrals, with the layering technique, with the zirconia. Then with the time, it's been changing. Now we do exactly the same case, two pressing. We spend more time in designing exocad than finishing the crowns today. My class is more about designing the way we nesting, the way we pressing, how we pressing, and then when time is coming to the besting and finishing the crowns in the model, to try, is maybe an hour, because that is what takes to finish two centros, 1 hour, 1 hour and a half today. If everything is well done by the designer, everything is well done. When you pressing and when your pressing is 99% what you're expecting to be, pressing is coming with the texture today, the way we do it. If you spend more time in exocad and you pressing, you get that texture into the finals. And like I say, is you need to talk to the doctors, you need to get engaged with the patients. These materials that are beautiful, but the the important thing is about you understand your material, when you can use translucent, when you use high translucent. I truly believe high translucent is just for inlay onlys in the posteriors, in my personal opinion, because the translucent material, when it's too thin, translucent material, according to the literature you can provide, is based in 1 millimeter thickness. But we're talking about here 1/10, 2/10 of millimeter thickness about the cervical, and maybe 3/10 in the incisal edge. It's very thin material. But if I just want to, if we have more questions about the material, is we have to learn about, as a technicians today, get more involved about trying gels, cements, because that is that makes the difference. Today, or every single case, I spend more money in trying gels in my office from Ivoclar and from the Panavia cements, the ones, and that way when I sending a case to the doctor, usually I say, in the office, I did the case and I try with uh, translucent or transparent from this. This is my recommendation to get the same color. Technicians, we are not just making crowns anymore. We're making recommendations in dentistry. We are a little, it sounds a little bit more arrogant, but we have more power today. We design the cases for the dentist. We sell the cases for the dentist. Actually, it's so funny because when you go to social media today, 90% of the people that are showing cases and they posting cases, they are technicians, not dentists. Who is selling the cases? Technicians. Who is telling the industry which materials they have to use today? Is technicians. You go into the big podiums, yes, it's a great names over there. They're going to show you techniques, and it's crazy what the dentists they do it today. But technicians, we move a little more faster in selling, and we're using marketing tools today as a social media, and we running the industry in telling people which materials they use it. I truly believe a lot of dentists, they still prescribing, I want an Emax, or I want a zirconia, or I want a lava, in the same time. You don't know which zirconia your laboratory is using. I use every single day VITA zirconia in my office today, and I still have doctors, they prescribe me lava. They don't know. It's the way you finish. It's the way you're doing your case. It's the same. I have dentists. We have an agreement with my doctors, and I can tell you is I choose the material because in my hands I can say for the space I have more experience to use this material. Can you cement or you can bonding? That is pretty much what I do with the doctors today. Uh, and I have to sell. My work, today is I do more selling than manufacturing. I gotta be honest with you. I spend less time manufacturing, finishing. I have to sell more. I have to interview more patients, show the patient, educate the patients. And in the same time, when I do single centrals, the single centrals was done in-house. And my way to go today is with the majority of single centrals. No lithios is zirconias, steel zirconias. They're beautiful. Any more
So,
question, guys?
so what is your general rule of thumb on how far to shift the color of your restoration from the prep color? In other words, what's that gap? If they want a um, if the prep is, for instance, example A 3.5 and they want a bleach shade, do you press it, or then do you have to completely change your plan and go like something with zirconia or something to mask out that prep color? Or what is that range that you can successfully make things look natural?
One of the things we've been doing is, to go from, unless it's, put it this way, unless it's a gray color or black color on the teeth, if it's yellow brownish colors, I can go from A4 to ON3, ON2. No problem at all. Depends on the thickness of the material I can press. Uh, I don't like to use zirconia for veneers at all. I done. I don't like to, but I done. Uh, I've been successfully thinking if you micro layer some opaque denting over the ambria, and like this case, the one I have right now is micro layer a little bit enamels and denting, just it is it's just painting there, but I can get a little more opacity to create the color I need. But for example, this case, the one you have right now in the screen, the stone shade was like A3, A4 areas, or ND3, ND4 is called from the shade guy from the stone shades. And we get between ON3, ON1 using a translucent cement. We can use a white cement, for example. It's a white cement. It's three different kinds of white cement. It's white opaque cement, or white translucent cement, and I think it's another one. It's called white cement from Curacao. You know, depends what we want. I use the trying gels, and I can make recommendations. Sometimes, unfortunately, when I do prepless veneers, I have thickness. I have only one color. Basically, I have ON1 to press, and from ON1 I have to create a color like one. What is simple for me today, because of printing models. That is the other thing I've been learning. I don't have here, there's another presentation. You can print the model using a tooth color for the temporaries. You just print the tooth color model, and then you put your crowns, and then you try that. We have A3 tooth color. Uh, that is why I still not 100% convinced to show that to in lectures, because the printing material there are very unstable. You can print A3 and looks like a A4, or like looks like a B3. You understand me? The printing materials, they're totally unstable. That is why I'm not showing, or I'm not presenting that. But it's a guidance for me. If I have a tooth color material, I can guide a little bit where I'm going. The only thing I want to see it is I don't want to see my crowns darker than 1 and 1. I gotta be honest with you. If in today's industry, if you do 10 veneers and your veneers they're gonna look darker than 1 and 1 in the mouth, is a failure. Patients they don't like it. I'm in Texas. When people they don't, I'm not in California, I'm not in Florida, I'm in Texas. And Texas today is ON3, ON1 all the time also. We are like a California. The most important, I truly believe, is two different, and you have to read When I sit with my patient, I have to read this. If they want a Hollywood smile or they want a bright, white, natural smile. If a patient wants a Hollywood smile, is I don't have anything to do there. I can walk away from the case or make white, straight, square teeth and cement with white opaque cement, and they're gonna love it. They're gonna be happy, and they're gonna pay me for that. Or if I don't want to be involved in that, I can walk away. I done cases like that. I gotta be honest with you, and they love it. And then it's not a matter of the color underneath. You just use a white opaque cement. Actually, I done a case. I'm not proud of the case, but patient love it. It's the zirconia veneers. There are the wider color you can do in the. I use actually the ST white without any colorings. We mill that one with sintering. We make the process for we stain and glaze, no sisal edge. Actually, I use the STY zirconia, not the one is coming in layer. The old ST, the one solid color ST, patient love it. And he's one of the patients, I think he's showing up at least every 6 months once in my office for more pictures. He lives very close to my office and he wants, Victor, you can post this one. Take a picture of myself. And I can't. I can't. It's not my signature. But anyway,
Just a couple more questions. One is on your patient pictures, what camera are you using?
I use Canon for all my pictures. We use you know, dual flash with paper. I all the time for my photography. Or I use the big flashes, but I use Canon. If somebody is interested in learning a little more about the way I do photography, it's a quick photography, they can contact me and I can show them. Uh, and it's important. Photography for me is the most important thing. If your cases doesn't look beautiful on the screen, you cannot sell the case or looks like everybody else. But that's basically Canon. You can use Nikon. Nikon is really good. Sony, I believe they have beautiful cameras. Well, something I answered the question is not about the camera, it's about the lens and the eye. And the lens from Canon I like more than the lens from Nikon, personally.
Okay. And then on the print resin, is that also a Dekima or what print resin are you using?
Is a self-preparated Dekima resin. It's the only one. One of the advantage of this resin, if you allow me to answer that question, is the resin is not light cure. It's self-cure. After printing, you clean in alcohol, two sets of bath of alcohol, and it's clean. And one of the big problems the industry has, and I believe there's a lot of different printing resins right now in the market for pressing. The problem is when you light cure the resin, we tried before. When you light cure, you can have a distortion based on the light you use, based on the time you put in the light, is shrinking, is distortion, whatever you want to call. The beauty about this particular resin the Kima has is the only one right now in the market. After it's printing, you clean, you don't have to look like it's ready to go. It's only for pressing. It's uh, it's kind of, I don't want to say it's expensive. Anyway, everything in dentistry is expensive. Don't take me wrong. Everything. And I love that because I want to be expensive. I want to charge a lot for what I do. And the good products it has a lot of cost. I don't believe in cheap products. I don't believe in that. Cheap take me to the wrong routes. But is when you don't have to remake cases or reprint or repress or reprinting is much better. It's cost effective. That's what I say.
All right. Well, I'm going to wrap something up here for everybody. Um, so I'm going to take control over it and share my screen. All right, so those of you that are asking about CE, that will be done through your registration that you did. So we'll use that and you'll receive your CE that way. The reminder, the workshop, the webinar has been recorded. You can visit us on the VITA North America YouTube channel and give us a couple days to post that, and we'll take care of that. If you need somebody from the VITA help desk or from your rep, there is some information there. We do have some additional webinars this year. We got a couple more this year, and then we're starting with 2025. And we hope Victor can join us to do a couple more webinars if you're willing to, Victor.
Yeah. Yes.
For next year.
Mm-hmm.
And then here is the information of Victor if you need to contact him. So he is a working technician, right? As he said, he does a lot of clinical cases. So if you try to contact him and he doesn't get back to you soon, give him some slack. He's busy, right? He's working on cases, producing. So, but he's gracious enough to give out his information, contact information.
Yeah. Anytime.
So any last words, Victor, before we let everyone go?
No. Yes. Thank you for your time. Thank you for everybody's time. It's great to share a little bit of, about passion and knowledge here. This is about this industry. I think, being a technician allow us to share more and, and I love to see technicians around the world because you're learning a lot from different technicians. The advantage we have as a technician, remember this, is dentists maybe a good, a regular dentist maybe does one veneer case a month. As a technicians, we do one veneer case a week. The amount of experience for failures is bigger than anyone in, any decent technician has a lot of experience today. And we're okay.
All right. Thank you very much, Victor. It was a lot of good information, and love to hear how you process things in your lab. And you're always in front of the curve, the market. So appreciate all your knowledge and support on this. So with that said, I'm gonna let this go. So this will be the end of today's webinar with Mr. Victor Castro. So wherever you're at, everyone have a great day. And this will end today's webinar. Thank you again, Victor.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.